to iLearn's evening presentation called Revitalization and Preservation of Indigenous Languages and Culture using XR. Get away.
Anin Bojo, Michelle O'Brien, Indigenous Cause. Jonya Benesse is my spirit name. Welcome, everyone.
Anin Bojo, Skinny Yishgat Kwe, Vishnakar. Angie King is my English name. And welcome for coming tonight. Miigwech.
Ani Bojo, Ernestine Baldwin, Indigenous Cause, Untitled Chapter, Anishnaabemowin is my spirit name, Calm Water Woman. She Kendo Dem, my clan is Turtle, and I'm happy to be with you tonight. Miigwech.
We'd like to begin the evening with a prayer from our elder, Ernestine Baldwin.
Ani Bojo, Martin Kwa Indigenous Cause, Nia Shinigming Don Jaba, She Kendo Dem. O Chimi Gwach Kajem Nado, Gooding Minwa Gibigishak, Gooding Minwa Mount Jidiang Mumpi, with about the Mount Mandasa, Asia P10 Dogok, Anishnaabemowin. We don't question where we're now, Jiki the Young, where we're now, Jamnosek, Manda, South, Washington, no good a big cock. We don't question yeah, Canan, we don't that young, to no known the young. The Queen Mark Yago, Arshgoga, Majajik, Nado Conning, Meanwhile, Ayoxagic. Like the Margasic, a wee skin mujik, a man ordained mujik. The Bugosen Mark Mishum Sinonic, no Misnonic, to be our mar, to not more gay what gay in war. Miigwech, yeah, Scott me quem, me young, me Jim. Nesewin, Wawas Kuneum, Skikin, Tigok, meanwhile is all Keegan. Meanwhile, Miigwech Nabe, as a P10 dogok. Miigwech get Wessiak, Benashiak, Gigoyak, Nidoshan suck, the Kendon our giving war, goes as each guy's what. We don't push no additional gum, where when I just must say young, where when I just young no gum. I hope me you no go measure go send me on a gajam the door. Oh, Miigwech, 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 Miigwech. Thank you, Creator, for giving us another day, for giving us life, for giving us everything that is good. We thank you also for this language that we carry, that we would be able to keep it as long as we can. It's such a sacred language to us. We ask our grandmothers and grandfathers to be with us, to help us. And I thank Mother Earth for all she provides, our food, our breath, our trees, flowers, plants, our medicines, and we thank the waters that are so sacred that we need for life. And I thank the animals, the birds, the fish, and the little insects. They have their own duties to do. They know why they were created. And I pray for those who are gone to the spirit world, those who are sick, those who are living in anxiety and worry, those who are poor, and those who are suffering grief. This is what I ask the Creator for us tonight. Oh, Miigwech, 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 Miigwech.
Miigwech Ernestine. I'm going to ask Ernestine who, in our culture, we hold a feather, an eagle feather. And I'm going to have her explain the reason why we hold this feather.
The eagle is the most important bird in Native culture because the eagle flies the highest. The eagle takes our prayers to the Creator, and the eagle watches over the Native people to make sure that they are still practicing their Native ways. And the gift of an eagle feather is one of the highest honors that you can give to a person. And the eagle feather represents truth. And so when you're holding the eagle feather, you're always speaking in truth. There are other teachings with this eagle feather, but for now I'm not, I can't think of them at the moment. And also we use tobacco to pray. And when we offer tobacco, our prayers are carried by the eagle feather up to the Creator. And miigwech.
Miigwech Ernestine. So we did a smut, and prior to the event tonight, Michelle went and offered tobacco to Ernest to ask for help in our opening prayer today and to guide us through tonight's event. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the smudging. So we offer tobacco in the form of a tobacco tie, and that is shared by many Indigenous people. When the people accept the tobacco, they are agreeing to help in some way. Offering tobacco is a way of asking for assistance. To make a request, offer the tobacco pouch by holding it in your left hand closest to your heart and state your request. And be specific when you're asking for your request. Place the tobacco in their hand. What you want to say in your request and offering tobacco. So an example with that would be, I'm offering you this tobacco for helping me lead in this prayer today. So the smudging itself has 4 sacred medicines: tobacco, sama, sage, muskado, English, cedar, gije, and sweetgrass, English. So what is smudge? The act of clearing the air, the mind, the spirit, and our emotions. Smudging is a tradition common to many First Nations, which involves the burning of one or more medicine gathering from the earth. The most common medicines used in smudge are the sweetgrass, sage, and cedar. Smudging has been passed down from generation to generation. There are many ways to perform a smudge, and different variations exist. Why do we smudge? Well, we smudge to clear the air around us. We smudge to clean our mind so that we'll have good thoughts of others. We smudge our eye that we will only see good things in others. We smudge our ear so that we'll only listen to good things about others. We smudge our mouth so that we will only speak well of others. We smudge our whole being that we will portray only good parts of ourselves through our actions. Smudging allows us to stop, slow down, and become mindful and zen. This allows people to remember, connect, and be grounded. The forms of smudging will vary from nation to nation, but were considered all to be a way of cleansing oneself. Smudge is a part of the way things are done and is a part of living a good life. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Angie. Miigwech, Ernestine. Thank you so much. What a beautiful teaching. What a beautiful opening to exactly what we aim to present tonight. Ever since we began in virtual reality, and it was first just to entice the young learners, but along the way and the conversations that we've been having lately is what exactly are we trying to do with virtual reality? And the both of you just demonstrated that keeping our language and our teachings alive and preserving it by the recording that is happening tonight. We will have this forever to come. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming. And so, what exactly is language revitalization? It refers to the efforts of people or community to create language learning programs and services to keep their language alive and flourishing. Revitalization and preservation of Indigenous languages has many positive effects for the survival of endangered languages and for the people who speak them. Language preservation is the effort to prevent languages from becoming unknown. A language is at risk of being lost when it no longer is taught to younger generations. While fluent speakers of the language, usually the elderly, are passing away. And Anishnaabemowin is in very much indeed in danger and has been for many, many years. And one of the reasons why we started the language program at Georgian College, so that we can revitalize the language and preserve it for the years to come. So I just want to go through a little slide presentation. Here we go. Okay. So upon discussion with Angie and Ernestine and our students, just getting feedback on what exactly our past year, because we were introduced to virtual reality starting last summer and through our immersive technologist lead at the college, Rob Terrio, and he has been such a huge support for us. I cannot tell you. He introduced us to Alt Space VR, where our first virtual environment was created. And then we sent headsets out to the students by Reading Week, which was October, so that they'd be able to experience the virtual environment. And Angie was their lead faculty, and she took them in for the first time uh, in the middle of October, and she'll fill you in on her experiences in a little bit on being in there for the first time too with the students and what they felt as well. And since then, we have had the development of a virtual environment in Engage VR, which is language in the home. So in our program, Anishnaabemowin and program development, we have language in the home and language in the community and language in the natural environment and language in the workplace. And right now we have uh, those worlds being built for an Engage virtual environment. We're quite excited. Our language in the home is already built. I'll show you pictures later on in the slides. And we had a presentation in there 2 weeks ago. Um, and it was really nice to launch that. And our language in the community is almost ready. We're going to have a powwow grounds in there of sorts and in office buildings and and then language in the environment will have natural land, um, animals and trees and things like that, a lake. So it's quite exciting that we're able to introduce this to our students. One of the reasons why we were so excited and to be able to pursue the virtual environment is because for years in our communities, we've been always saying, why are the young ones not learning the language? Why are they not learning the language? Like, how can we get them to learn the language? And so came to the conclusion that maybe the traditional way to learn the language was maybe not inspiring or motivating for them. And so through discussion, we thought, well, you know what? They're always on the computer, they're always gaming, or they're always doing something on the internet. And so to be able to jump at the chance to create these virtual environments, we said, let's try it. And so we're finding very much so that they're very inspired and motivated. And it wasn't until Ernestine, our elder, actually, she never used a computer before July last year. And we went to her when we knew that we were going to be online with the students. And we said to her, Ernestine, you won't be able to communicate with the students unless you learn how to use the computer, and you can come on to web meetings and use email and that. And right away, she said, for sure, I'm going to do this. And then when it came to the virtual reality, we said, Ernestine, would you like to go in and see the students in virtual reality? You have to create yourself as a little avatar. And she was like, okay. And she did it. And we were just blown away, to tell you the truth. It's just incredible. She's been using the computer less than a year. And she's also an avatar in Engage VR. And as you can see, she's also an avatar in iLearn. And I think she really likes iLearn though, because she said she can run real fast in here. So just amazing to have an elder uh, to be able to do this for our students. And and just to look that she's also the ones that are coming forward now and realizing what they must do to be able to connect and communicate with everybody in the community and develop relationships and anything. Angie, did you have any input on this?
No, I think it's just like what you said, where we're really proud of our Nokeness and having her with us, and it just goes to show that we're gonna have her voice, we're gonna have her stories, we're gonna have her teachings, forever and ever in this VR. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm so very proud of what she's accomplished in less than a year. So miigwech for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Um, there was something else too that we thought was really contributing to revitalization was to actually have the presence of an elder in virtual reality with the traditional oral recorded stories and teachings. As you just saw, Ernestine just did an opening for you in the prayer, and Angie gave you a teaching. And it is now recorded, or we would have recorded it. In our virtual reality environments and engage, it is oral. You can click on an object, and actually, Ernestine and Angie's voices come up on certain objects throughout the house. And we're also going to put in recordings of Ernestine doing a story. And so for us, this is something that we will have for a lifetime. This is something that others can come into the environment as well and hear these stories and hear these teachings. Ernestine, did you have anything to say that you'd like to say about your presence in the virtual reality environment?
Um, why does it echo? Uh, well, I was thinking about why um, learning our language through this technology is because we're losing our speakers. It's really um, it's a good thing for our students to have the language uh, right there where they can. It's echoing. I don't bothering me when I. Okay, I'm taking off my earphones here. To have the language put in this virtual world, um, it's ensuring that our students will be able to learn the language. The reason why we're losing our language is because of the residential school system, where they didn't allow our language to be passed on to the next generation. And so I was lucky to have my language because my mother didn't go to residential school till she was 12, and she was already fluent, and she never lost it, and she passed it down to me. And I almost lost it because we lived in the city. But thank goodness I was able to understand when I was spoken to, but I was not able to converse with another speaker fluently. And so it's taken me a long time to get to where I am. I'm still learning, and I'm really wanting to pass this language down, because our young people are losing their way of life. They're knowing this language will put them in a good, go forward in a good way. When they know they have their own language, they'll have their own self-esteem. They'll begin to be proud of themselves. It's really important for us to pass this down. So I'm thankful for this this technology that we have. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Miigwech, Ernestine, miigwech. Um, so another point that we had come up with about revitalization was is that it connects with other communities and it simulates gatherings of culture and language from around the world. And what we mean by that is and it's funny because as we were putting this presentation together, I kept talking to Angie about it and and exactly what we can do in the virtual environment and as far as related to language and culture. And the wonderful thing is that we can do our teachings or do our oral recordings or do our passing on the knowledge, and other people from around the world can learn just as much as we can learn from people around the world and connect us with communities even that are up north that we're unable to get to. And that's the wonderful thing. I like in seconds, you're in an environment with people from all over the world. And that's what I find so incredible. And it's just uh amazes a lot of people when because not a lot of people, this is still quite new actually, for those of you that have been in the virtual environment for a few years or so, but a lot of people are just learning about it. And when you tell them, like when we said to Ernestine, would you like to be an avatar, and she thought it was from like the Avatar movie that she was going to be blue and purple and stuff. So, as we're introducing this to individuals, so may it be students or staff or even other people around the college, or even friends and family, and we've had really good feedback actually when we do show what we've done in less than a year actually too as well. So we're quite proud of that. And we look forward to learning more and making more connections to individuals, too, in different communities and around the world as well. And to learn about the different language learning models, too, as well, and teaching practices that others are doing. And we can learn off of that, too, as well. Um, it was really amazing. Angie and I were interviewed this week from another college where they want to do an immersion Anishnaabemowin program. And I thought that was really, um, I don't know the right word for that, what that is. That I just feel very gifted that they're asking other individuals who have been doing this for a while, teaching in it or coordinating it or administering it, and looking for their feedback. And so I felt very honored, actually, that we were able to give our input to be able to help other people revitalize the language. And every time we mention virtual reality, people are like, "Oh, I'm interested. I'm very excited." So the more that we do and the more that we introduce it to other people, then the more knowledge that's going to get out there, and hopefully more environments will be built and more interactions will happen. So very excited. Angie, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about the students coming in through virtual reality for the first time. It was really awesome to see them. They were excited. Some had problems with the headphones, but the good thing about VR and iLearn is you can go in with your PC, and that accommodated a lot of students, myself as well. I have vertigo, and it helped me to navigate myself around the area and be able to teach the students the language. And they're able to do classes in the virtual reality in our language in the home. Like Shell mentioned, there's signages throughout the home. Each individual item has a question mark on it, and if you point to that, the word will come up, and so they're able to listen and learn how to write that word. It's vital that we learn reading and writing. It has always been an oral language, Ojibwe, Anishnaabemowin, and but I think it's vital in today's culture and society that we need to have this at some point be a national language, and we need that writing system to be able to do that. So it's vital. And we must always remember that our language is crucial to preserve. And we're doing that by using audio tape, videotape, CD-ROMs, and now we're using the VR for our fluent speakers. So that's really awesome. I mean, we're capturing our elders in the purest of oral forms of our language. And that's to ensure that we'll be able to keep that for future generations to come. And that's a wonderful thing to have. I feel that VR is a form of a wake up call also for our learners because we're banking our language in forms of audio and visual. And I'm so proud to be standing up here today alongside these two women because, and for Rob that introduced us for him. I can't say enough about how Rob has become so vital event in the VR, and he's just very, very helpful, very calm, very, very helpful in many ways, and we're indigenizing him all the way. And that's a good thing. And I think Rob will say it's something that he's enjoying also. So, you know, I think about our language being preserved in this way, and I never thought I'd be able to do something like this. It was just kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? But there's so many things you can do in this. We can sit at the dinner table and we can talk about what our place settings or items are in the language. We can talk about what we're eating, past the food, is it good? And it's just endless. And that's just eating at the table. What about going outside where they have a basketball court and they're playing basketball and they're picking up the ball and they're bouncing it? That's a whole lesson in itself as to language and what they're learning. There's nothing better than participating in something that you're doing in order for you to learn that language. You maintain and you absorb it a lot more by doing those actions and not just reading and writing it and listening to it, but by doing it. That's how I learned as a fluent speaker. You listen, you watch, you learn, and you repeat, right? And so, who wouldn't want to be doing something like this? It's vital because I don't want to be the last speaker of our native language. I don't want to have that envelope of silence with no means of ability to pass it on or the wisdom from our ancestors and to anticipate the promises of our descendants. I just think that it's a wonderful thing that we're doing right now, and I'm thankful for Jonathan for inviting us here today and having this recorded. So, miigwech, Michelle.
Miigwech, Angie, so much. And ditto on those words for Rob. Um, and I know he's very humble, so every time him, but we wouldn't be able to do this with the ease and comfort that we have. And I just want to say chi miigwech for sure. Um, and also just to add to, and I think one of the biggest things that the realization um, about preserving for sure. Our Nokomis, and Ernestine, I know you let me tell people how your age before. Is it okay if I tell them your age now?
Sure.
Okay. So Ernestine is 82 years old. And that is why we are so proud of her for learning how to use the computer and to say that she's an avatar free virtual environments is just incredible. I can't even tell you the love that we have for this woman. And now we have her stories and her words recorded forever. And her teachings too as well. We were told by the developer last week that if we wanted to get recorded stories, and we will put them in our virtual environments, and we will be able to um, listen to them, and our new learners will be able to listen to them every single time that they go into our virtual environments. And um, one of the really special teachings that I'll be asking Ernestine for will be in our language in the community. We have a school, and within that school, the avatars are going to be able to go in there and learn the language of certain objects in there. But I have to tell you, at Georgian College, in our classroom, and for 25 years, we've had the seven grandfather teachings on the wall. And these are seven uh, values that Anishinaabe people live by. And it is something that is really sacred. And I would like to be able to have those teachings put on the wall in the classroom in our virtual environment with Ernestine's voice recorded to be able to give the teachings of the seven grandfathers. And to me, that will just be um, just very sacred and wonderful for the learners that are to come. And so, and then also we're going to have language in the natural environment, and we'll probably have a campsite and a teepee out on the land, and we could probably do clan teachings and other teachings that we'll be able to preserve in recorded fashion, which is just quite amazing, actually. Something I was talking to Angie about this past week, though, because I said to her, I'm just going to go do a little bit of research and see what methods and how people are trying to preserve the culture and the language, because you can't have language without culture, and you cannot have culture without language. They're actually one. And I said to Angie, I said, I read a paper where it said um, that preserving the culture in virtual reality is like in an intangible way for the teachings and the ceremonies and the knowledge sharing. And I said to her, well, if you think about it, so if we were just like how Ernestine did the opening prayer, we actually would have smudged, and we would have went around in a circle and went to each individual to smudge, and and Ernestine would be holding the eagle feather, and that is why she gave you the teaching of the eagle feather. But myself at home, when Ernestine was doing that teaching, when she was doing that opening, I did a smudge here and held my feather to make me feel more part of the opening prayer that she was doing, and to visualize myself standing next to her in person. And so that really helped a lot. And that's what I really noticed, Angie and I, when we first came into iLearn, actually, when the college introduced it to us, and we went down by the beach and we were listening to the water, and we were running. Sorry, I don't. and we were running for the first time. And I said to Angie, I haven't run for years. I said, you know what that felt like? That made me feel, it told my brain I actually was running and I felt great. And and I just said, so the brain is a very powerful tool, and especially in virtual environments. And so to put that connection, how in some incidents, I believe, because we will never do ceremony in virtual reality. That is my opinion. Angie may give you a different opinion, and Ernestine, being our elder, is the ultimate opinion, to tell you the truth, because we always listen to our elders and we take guidance from them. But that's something I think that will never go online, will be ceremony. I don't see that ever happening, but a lot of knowledge sharing and teachings since COVID began. I am so proud of our communities. I'm so proud of our organizations and the amount of they've kept it alive in the past year by moving to online. So I don't want to ever say actually never, because our new ones, our younger ones coming up, just have different, the, I guess, viewpoints on how they see uh, the future in learning. Angie, Ernestine, did you want to add
Yeah,
it?
I think when you were talking about it not ever being on here, the teachings are very sacred to us, and you're right by them not ever being on VR. That's something that we do, and that's something that's passed down from generation to generation. So I'm just gonna have to leave it at that, Michelle. That I don't think it'll ever be on VR.
Thank you, Angie. Yeah. And and that's been a huge discussion out in the community. And I agree with you at this time. What else? Oh, one of the most wonderful things that I feel the virtual reality has done to preserve is and also for new building relationships and social connections. Um, as Angie said about the students coming in, and our students were actually isolated for months and months and months, and um, and then just I witnessed actually. um, Angie, we brought in our language class from our other program, the Indigenous Community and Social Development Program, and we brought in the Ojibwe class, the students and the teacher. And it was so amazing to see everybody just like come together and start chatting, and just to stand there and watch the teacher talk with a student from the language program and ask questions and so on. And that would not have happened if it was not for these virtual environments, for the alt space. um and uh and I just think that it really strengthened the relationships of our students this year, and then also for us too as well, and be able to have relationships and develop other individuals from other tribes and other cultural groups from around the world, so that we may learn too as well. Angie or Ernestine, would you like to? Do you have anything to add?
Hey, it's me, Ernestine. No, I was just thinking when you're talking about all the other cultures in the world and this, I I would be amazing to me to people from Indigenous people from the States, the different languages they have there, and like Hawaii and New Zealand, Australia, all those places to, I just can't wait to learn some of their ceremonies, some of their teachings, and some of their language. I think that would be just wonderful because um, most of us are not going to be traveling all over the place, especially me now at my age. But I just think that's just a wonderful, would be just a wonderful experience. Hey,
Oh,
but
I agree. So we'll have to get you into some other environments so that you can meet people from around the world.
Michelle, I just wanted to say that this VR and our XR has done everything because of the COVID, the component of the cultural aspect of our language program. This has really bridged the gap this past year and a half. And we're having a wonderful time with it. And um, who knows where we're going to go next with it.
We're going to go all over the world, are we not, Angie?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you a few pictures. These are the environments that Rob has built for us. We have language in the home. And so if you came in to the kitchen, for instance, or all over the house, there's little question marks. And if you click on the question mark, then it pops up in the language. It's written in the language. And then, so between Angie and Ernestine, the words were translated. And once we came up with a list of objects that we wanted to put into the home. And then Rob went ahead and started building language in the community. And it is quite huge. It is a community, and that's absolutely beautiful. And so we're just very appreciative of him doing this for us. It's quite amazing, actually. And then from there, clicking the arrow, but I'll go this way. So this is Ernestine. She on the student's last day, she was in Alt Space VR. We have a campfire there and rocks, and she came in and she surprised them. That was the first time she came in as a avatar, and they were quite happy to have her in there, which was amazing. And so she was able to be with them on their last day, which was really nice. And then this is our new home, actually, our new home, our new home. Um, and it is the Engage VR. It's the language in the home. And so we have the living room and then the kitchen, and then there's a couple of bedrooms and a bathroom. And then outside, we have this big, beautiful medicine wheel. And I mean beautiful. And when we did a presentation in for educators in VR a couple weeks ago, we were able to stand around the circle. And Ernestine came in. This is Ernestine as an avatar in there too as well. And she came in and did an opening for us. And once again, it was very special. And what felt even more special was that we were able to stand around the circle and stand around the medicine wheel, something that is very strong and in our hearts. Um, yeah. Oh, the dog is barking. Angie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. So we did this prayer around this um, medicine wheel, and it was very humbling actually, and to have all our guests there, and they immediately um, formed a circle around it. And I think it just goes to show how much people are starting to learn. And I don't think we really needed to tell them to go around the circle. I think they just automatically did it. So it's wonderful to know that people are starting to learn our culture and our traditions. And it was a wonderful day, and very, very proud and thankful for all the work that's gone into Engage this year. So thanks again to everybody that's put all the effort into this, and it makes it so much easier for us when we go in and do our teachings. And there's so much more that's being um, that you're not able to see right now, but there's so much more in this world, and can't wait to start working on it again in the fall. But
Miigwech, Angie. Ernestine, would you like to add anything?
Yes, standing in that medicine wheel is I always stand in the north where it's white. That's where the elders belong in that medicine wheel. And the yellow part there is where the children, the babies are. And then the red part is where the young, like young people, like teenagers and so forth. And then the black part is where the adults are in that medicine wheel. And then the white is where the elders are. So that's why I always stand near the white circle. Uh, yes, it was a wonderful experience. It just amazes me to see how different I look in every avatar. Anyway, yes. So thank you.
Oh, Miigwech, Ernestine.
so, Michelle,
Yes.
we have to recognize Daniel from Bit Space
Yes.
Development, who created the Indigenous House for us in Engage. He's a company out of Winnipeg, and he did a wonderful job. Pleasure working with Daniel.
Yes, and he's also working on our language in the community and language in our natural environment and workplace. So, well, it's quite exciting, and it will be quite exciting to be able to show everybody when all of the environments are created. I think it will be quite something actually, to have people come in and see everything. Miigwech, Angie. And so we, Rob introduced us to a gentleman from Wales. Long time ago, actually. And he started a chapter uh, with Indigenous people from all over the world. And it is to come together and talk about language and culture and the arts. And Daniel actually is co-founder of Educators in VR too as well. And so this is where we'll bring Ernestine in, and she'll be able to meet other people from all over the world with other Indigenous languages and culture. So the next time there is a meeting, it would be really nice to have Ernestine in there. So that's a wonderful chapter that is getting us a start to have introductions to other preservation and revitalization models around the world, and we're quite excited. I just want to say chi miigwech to everybody, and which means thank you very much. With the opportunities that Angie and myself and Ernestine have had in the last couple months regarding the virtual reality is just incredible. I cannot tell you. And and everybody that's involved in inviting us. We truly appreciate it. We're very humble, and we like to open up if anyone has questions. I saw some, and thank you, Rob, for answering our questions in the chat. I really appreciate. But if others have any questions that we're able to answer for you, please ask. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I see Kevin's clapping. Rob's clapping.
I haven't muted the audience, so you're welcome to unmute your microphone if you'd like to speak. Did ask a question which Rob answered in the chat. But I actually do have another one, if I may, Michelle.
Oh, go right ahead.
You alluded a little bit to the future plans there when you said something about languages in the community and languages in workplace. So I was going to ask you, what's the future for designs?
Oh, well, um, because we have those 4 courses in our language program, we thought it would be um, best fit to create environments to suit those different courses. And we actually, our language in the community should be done quite soon, actually, in the next couple weeks. That one's really exciting, actually, because it has like a little hospital or medical center, a school, a band office, which is found on reserve. It's an administration office, a powwow grounds, and so just for to be able to get um, that environment for the students to just explore and learn more. I'm really looking forward to it. And along with our language in the natural environment, because our connection as Indigenous people too, our connection to the land is very important. So we're quite excited. I see, and I can't promise, but I see that all the environments should be completed come September.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yes.
Wow.
Um,
Be awesome.
yeah, it'd be very, I can't even tell you. We've, like I said, Angie said too, we have great people that are helping us, and they're very inspiring and motivating too as well. And so we're very lucky. I have to tell you that.
Michelle, I just wanted to say also is the students are quite involved in the building of these language places that we have, language in the home, language in the environment, language in the workplace. In classroom, what we do is we compiled a list of words and things that they want to see in the building. So they're totally involved in the building of what goes inside these buildings. So it's with their help also. So it gives them things to look for, how to write them properly, how to say them properly. So it's a whole class in itself when it comes to finding words for these items. And one of the things I wanted to say also in this new home that we have, before it opened up, I asked Rob if he could go and hide something for me in the community, because I wanted to have a scavenger hunt with the students. So we did it all in the language. So what I did was, can you go and hide like a canoe or a rowboat in the water? So all the clues led up to them finding it. And it was near the end. I think it was almost actually the last day of class, and it didn't take them long to find the clues. So that just goes to show that they retained everything that they had learned, and that was a reward in itself to have them do that. So it was kind of amazing as a instructor to watch students as they're learning in this environment. So yeah. Gwetch.
Miigwech, Angie. Does anyone have any other questions? Mm. Ernestine, did you have any final words that you'd like to say?
We're near the end, right? I was just
Yes.
going to say, in our language, we don't have a word for goodbye. We always say, Bama Piminwagawabmanim, we'll see you again. So that's my last word.
Aww.
We'll see you again. Miigwech. Bama Pi.
Aww. Miigwech, Ernestine. And once again, we'd like to thank iLearn for this invite, and for just believing in us. And we greatly appreciate it. And also Georgian College, we've had a lot of support from our Indigenous Services Department too as well. And the whole experience actually has been truly amazing. And we look forward to many more experiences. And we love iLearn too as well, because we like to run too, Ernestine. And we just like how it's very seamless in here, and to be a lot of glitching problems or anything like that. It's quite enjoyable to come into this environment, and we greatly appreciate the opportunity. And Chimigwech again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle. I think there's enough of us in the audience that maybe those of you that feel comfortable unmuting yourselves, I think we should say Chimigwech back. So on 3, unmute your microphones. 3, 2, 1. Chimigwech.
Gwetch.
There, we've helped capture some of the language as we
You.
hoped we would.
Aw.
All right. The main event has finished. We're going to stick around for a few minutes because I suspect we may want to go back down to the beach. But the live stream will now close. Thank you to our videographers, Tony Cube Studios, and the YouTube audience. Go ahead and end the recording. Thank you. All right.